All right, so first I just want to welcome everybody being here tonight. This is the first time we've had a public meeting for the committee since this pandemic began. I would assume at the end of March we probably skipped one. But it is nice to see some faces here, and this is a testament to all the hard work people are doing to eradicate this terrible virus. So, if the Township Committee meeting here for June 17th, 2021. The time is 5 o'clock, and let's start with roll call.
Committeeman Martinez.
Here.
Committeewoman Roberts. Here. Deputy Mayor Raffin.
Here.
Mayor DiBattista.
Here. If you could all please join with us for a pledge to the flag and a moment of silence for all the people suffering through the world right now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Announcement of the compliance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meeting Act. Consideration of possible actions on any request for electronic participation in this meeting. I believe we are live streaming this right now.
Yes, but Mr. Mayor, this is not construed as electronic participation, as the live feed does not allow any comments during the feed or afterwards.
Thank you, sir. Okay, motion to dispense with the regular order of business. Have a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Dan?
In the clerk's office dated June 15th, 2021, a letter was received to the clerk and administrator of Pennsauken Township. Last evening, the Pennsauken Democratic Municipal Committee met and hereby submits to you the names in accordance with the municipal vacancy law for the membership of Township Committee to fill the current vacancy caused by the resignation of Tim Gilliam. Those persons selected for submission are Patrick Olivo of Brimar Avenue, David Luthman of Maple Avenue, and Guy Rozier of Hamilton Court.
Do we have a motion? Nomination.
Nominate Patrick Oliver.
Second.
Roll call, please.
You have to close the floor, I'm sorry, for nominations.
Okay. Motion to close the floor for nominations.
So moved. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Martinez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Raffin.
Yes.
Mayor DiBattista.
Yes. Okay, so at this time, we're going to swear Patrick in. If we could please have Patrick come up here. And his parents, if they'd so like.
Whoever you want up here, Pat.
Yeah, like your brother as well. You know, we're excited for this moment here, Pat, and congratulations to you.
Congratulations, Patrick.
I, your name,
I, Patrick Olivo,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States
the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same
and to the government established
and to the government established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties
all the duties
as committeeman
as committeeman
in the Township of Pennsauken,
in the Township of Pennsauken,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. So, thank you.
Patrick, get on up here. But you ain't picture. You guys want to get a picture? Hold on a sec, Patrick. Family, we're going to take a picture.
Get used to the picture, get in there.
We move out of the way, or do you want to use the flags in the background?
It's just gonna use the seal in the background. Need the word move.
Congratulations, guys. Van, can we have a new roll call?
Committeeman Oliver.
Here.
Committeeman Martinez.
Here.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Rappin.
Here.
Mayor DeBattista.
Here. Approval of minutes.
Regular meeting minutes of June 3rd, 2021.
Approval for the minutes, we have a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nay? Okay. Next up, proclamations, awards, mayoral appointment, we have none. Bids open tonight, we have none. Ordinances on the second reading, public may comment.
2021-13, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Pennsauken, Chapter 299, entitled Vehicles and Traffic. This is for handicap parking spots at 4709 Lafayette, 4618 Highland, 3747 Frosthopper, and 1630 49th Street.
Do we have any comment? Seeing no comment, motion to close the floor for public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt? Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver.
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez. Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rappin.
Yes.
Mayor DeBattista.
Yes. Ordinance on the first reading, no public comment.
2021-14, an ordinance amending ordinance 2018-02 of the Township of Pennsauken, County of Camden, New Jersey. This is for bond ordinance of various capital improvements.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Roll, please.
Committeeman Oliver.
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rappin.
Yes.
Mayor DeBattista.
Yes.
2021-15, ordinance amending ordinance 2021-05 of the Township of Pennsauken, County of Camden, New Jersey. This is also for general obligation bond of various capital improvements.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver.
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rappin.
Yes.
Mayor DeBattista.
Yes.
2021-16, an ordinance authorizing agreement for acquisition of leased land interest and non-exclusive ground lease agreement between the Township of Pennsauken and 5324 Route 38 Pennsauken Land Holdings LLC for property known as Block 6113, Lot 5, with the Township of Pennsauken. This is the Catalyst Monument, waterfall advertisement.
We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver.
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez. Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rappin.
Yes.
Mayor DeBattista.
Yes.
2021-17, an ordinance authorizing agreement for acquisition of leasehold interest and non-exclusive ground lease agreement between the Township of Pennsauken and 5470 Pennsauken Land Holding LLC and property known as Block 6103, Lot 2 with the Township of Pennsauken. This is also Catalyst Monument advertisement on Route 7.
Motion to,
Second.
roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez, sorry.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rafe.
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista.
Yes. Resolutions, the public may comment. The following resolutions will be considered individually.
2021-169, resolution authorizing emergency temporary appropriations for 2021.
See no comment, we have a motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez,
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rafe,
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista.
Yes.
2021-170, a resolution authorizing the Township of Pennsauken to enter into a national cooperative purchasing agreement.
And Mayor and Committee, this allows the municipality to purchase a diesel trash truck and related accessories to be utilized by Public Works.
You have a question? Okay, thank you. Okay, no further comments here. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez,
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rafe,
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista.
Yes.
2021-171, resolution granting release of a performance bond in the amount of $10,354.86 to AC Pellegrini LLC located at 5910 South Crescent Boulevard, Lot 5845, Lot 1.
Mayor and Committee, this work has been completed and allows for the return of the bond money for 5910 South Crescent Road.
Nothing from the public. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez,
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rafe,
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista.
Yes.
2021-172, State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Urban Parks Initiative Enabling Resolution.
Mayor and Committee, the next two resolutions regarding grant applications authorizing the installation of trails, active recreation amenities, and historical preservation at Tippin Pond.
No comment from the public. Do we have a motion to adopt? Second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez,
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Rafe,
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista.
Yes.
2021-173, State of New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres Enabling Resolution.
See no comment from the public. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver,
Abstain.
Committeeman Martinez,
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts,
Yes.
Mayor Di Battista. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm sorry, Mayor Di Battista.
Yes.
And Deputy Mayor Rafe. Yes.
I'm locked in, man. Say my name. Boom. I'm waiting. All right. Moving right along here. Resolutions, public may comment. The following resolutions will be considered by consent agenda.
Mayor and committee, if you don't mind, I'm going to read the number and then because it's liquor licenses, I just like to read the number and the liquor license that it belongs to.
Okay.
So the first one is not a liquor license, it's 2021-174.
She's in.
I'm sorry, you doing
She's in
174?
174 here.
The one,
Okay, all right.
sorry. 174, resolution for unpaid municipal charges, for example, but not limited to grass cutting, cleanup, and board up, established a fine, a final billing, imposed municipal assessments, enforced through tax sale, and imposed municipal liens. 2021-175 is a resolution granting renewal of a liquor license for AM Vets, post number 101. 176 is for Gross Holland Shed. 177 is for Roger Wilker Liquor Store. 178 is for Canals Discount Liquor. 179 High Spirits Discount Liquors. 180 73 OPCO LLC, which is in Pocket. 2021 181 is Roman's Pizza and Pub. 182 Marlton Pike Liquors, 183 45th Street Pub, 184 is Greenwood Inn, 185 is Zoe Holdings at Club 2120, 186 is Pennsauken Liquor License LLC, which is in Pocket. 187 is Applebee's, which is in Pocket. 188 is Regal 73 LLC with conditions. 89 is Bryson's Pub. 190 is Antonio Carollo, which is in Pocket. 191 is Penn Queen Diner. 192 is the Pub. 193 is D-Day Beverage LLC, which is in Pocket. 194 is Tortilla Press. 195 Penn Center's Bar and Grill. 196 Benihana of Tokyo. 197 Bobby Ray's. 198 M&M Liquors. 199 Knapp's Liquors. 200 Maisie's Liquor Store. 201 Modern Liquors. 202 Cook's Liquors. 203 Moore Brothers Wine. 204 Liquor King, and 205 50's Discount Liquors.
Mayor and committee, those 31 liquor resolutions, all establishments are in good standing. We checked with the police, as well as the clerk, checked on taxes, fees, etc. Everything is in good standing for all 31 of them.
Thank you, and Pam, well done.
Yeah, take a breath over there.
Yes,
Pam.
exactly.
Macy's Liquor Store brings me back to my former life when I used to work inside of that place. But do we have a motion to adopt? Oh, we do have public comment. Please step up, your name and your address.
Ellen McMullen, 3462 Palace Court. My question is on Resolution 174. Is that a blanket statement or the particular properties that are involved?
Sorry, say that again?
Okay, the 174, the resolution was for a variety of charges. My question is this a blanket statement or is this for specific properties?
Yes, it's the property.
Yes.
I can give you the block of lots.
Yeah, we have all that, like all them, or,
Okay, just, I can make a request for that.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if we had the iPads, we would have been a lot harder to find out.
Yes, you're right.
All right, so do we,
Next
no
item.
other public comment? Okay, do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt. Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Alvarado.
Steve.
Committeeman Martinez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Raffin.
Yes.
Mayor Batista.
Yes. Conference items of discussion. Looks like we have cannabis legislation. Attorney Scott Micchio, Department K. I think the floor is yours on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Township Committee. Thank you for having me here today. As I'm sure everybody is aware, in February of this year, the governor signed into law the legal recreational adult use of cannabis. So that legislation did a few things, and I'll highlight mainly one of them tonight. The legislation really established the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, which is the agency that's going to be overseeing the licensing and the rules for the use of cannabis in New Jersey. It established a separate piece of legislation that addressed some of the criminal elements of the law and expunging some of the offenses that have gone on in the state regarding cannabis. But the main issue I want to discuss tonight is the items that the statute committee has to address by August 21st. So that's the most important thing to remember. August 21st is the deadline. So the overarching theme of the law is that it really gives the municipality a lot of leeway with regards to what kind of cannabis activity it wants to allow in town. There are 6 types of licenses that the municipality can either opt into or opt out of. Cultivation, manufacturing, wholesale, distributor, retail, and delivery service. So if the township were to fail to adopt by ordinance by August 21st, these activities would automatically be permitted uses in certain zones of the municipality. However, by ordinance, the municipality can either, like I said, opt in or opt out of any of those classes. And for those classes of cannabis that it does opt into, the municipality can enact time, place, and manner restrictions. You can say, for example, okay, I only want to have manufacturers in the town, and I only want to have it in a specific zone. And you can also establish the hours of operation. I don't believe the township already has any existing cannabis ordinances already on the books, but even if it did, the township would still have to act separate and apart from that by August 21st. So one of the other items that the legislation allows for is it allows for the municipal tax of the transfer of cannabis. So it allows for receipts from the sales of cannabis from one cultivator to another to be taxed. The receipts from the sales of cannabis by one cannabis establishment to another cannabis establishment to be taxed. Cannabis establishment is defined as cannabis cultivator, manufacturer, wholesaler, or retailer. So what that means is the municipality cannot tax the distributor class or the delivery service class. If the municipality were to opt in to any of these classes, then if there was a particular applicant that wanted to establish itself in the township of Pennsauken, then once that application is sent to the state, it would ultimately eventually be kicked back to the township for its approval to make sure that the township agrees with the application and it fits into the ordinance scheme that the township has set up for cannabis establishments in the township. Those are really the most basic things that you need to know. And again, I'll highlight the most important element, which is that the municipality can do whatever it likes. I think the state intentionally allowed the municipality to opt in or opt out of any of these and to establish its own regulations to make sure it kind of fits in with the scheme of the township. So I've studied the law pretty extensively. Those are the most important elements that you folks need to know tonight. But I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can. One other note is that there may be some questions I can't answer because we are still awaiting the regulations to come out. And the way it was designed is the regulations are due to come out in August on the same date as that August 21st date, which is the date that the municipality needs to either opt in or opt out. So what some municipalities have done is to say, okay, we're going to opt out for now because we want to see what the regulations say before we commit ourselves to anything. And then thereafter, the municipality can opt into any of the classes that it chooses. However, the failure to opt out by August 21st, you'd be prohibited from doing so for the next 5 years. But once you opt out, you can opt back in any time you want. But failing to do so, you would have to wait 5 years after that. So that's what some municipalities are doing. They're waiting to see what the regulations say. The Cannabis Regulatory Commission has met 3 or 4 times now, I believe, and they're currently in the process of drafting and hopefully issuing these regulations on time by August 21st. So those are the most important pieces of information that I think the township committee needs to know at this time as you continue to think about it.
Could you give us a few examples of when you say regulations? What are we looking at as far as regulations? We're not talking about recreational marijuana use, the stuff we've already dealt with where people consume and stuff like that. What regulations are you speaking of?
They could it's kind of unclear, unfortunately, at this point. Most of it will probably have to do with the license itself, the application itself, and what's going to be required. The application hasn't been put out there yet. I know there are potential licensees that have a feeling of what the application is going to look like based on the additional applications that have been going on for almost a decade now. So the regulations will probably mostly focus on that, but with regards to the municipality,
For applicants.
yes.
So almost like the specs of what it actually need to do to be able to win one of these.
Correct.
Okay.
And I can tell you we'll be very competitive.
So it would be safe to say if you waited, you'd be okay too, because there's such an enormous amount of interest you believe is out there.
Well, I think there is an enormous amount of interest. If the municipality were so inclined to opt in, and it waited till, for example, the regulations come out and then you opt out initially, and then you opt back in November, the initial round of licenses may be doled out. There's only a cap on the number of cultivation licenses that they're going to issue at first, which is 37. And then the market is going to dictate the number of, based on the amount of cannabis that we think that the cultivators can grow. The market will dictate how many licenses for the other classes. And it will happen pretty quickly, I believe. I think the goal is to have retail establishments open by 2022.
And Scott, we also can amend. So if we say, yeah, out of those 6, there's only 3 of those that we want to opt in on. We can always change that down the line or adjust and amend, correct?
You could do that. However, if there were, for example, if you were to allow retail, the retail that comes in and establishes itself, then it would be, in a sense, grandfathered in. You wouldn't be able to kick them out of town because you say, oh, we don't want retailers.
I mean,
Once in, it's 5. We can say yes and no from the get-go.
Yes.
He means like if you wanna.
like say we know that we
Incorporate
say
something
now
else.
delivery, we don't
Yeah.
want delivery.
But
But then next year we say, you know what, we do want delivery, that's okay.
Yes, once you opt out, you can always opt back in. And I just want to make it's kind of a finer point with regard to delivery. When we're talking about the delivery class, that's the delivery service actually establishing itself in town. So you can
Secondary to
prohibit.
what the retail place would even be.
Correct. So you can't prohibit any of these classes from establishing in town. I mean, you can prohibit these classes from establishing in Pennsauken. However, the one thing you can't do is you can't disallow a delivery service coming in to serve one of your residents in the town. It's legal
From outside or
from outside. You have
Right,
to
but
allow.
you can disallow.
Yeah, the actual
We thought it was unsafe to
the
have.
headquarters for a delivery service itself would be prohibited.
But it could be more of a personal, like, VIP type of, somebody from outside.
Like Domino's, right?
Right.
So we don't have Domino's here, but if someone orders it, they can
They
drive
can
it in and deliver it, right?
Correct. And you cannot prohibit that. Yes.
You guys have any other questions?
So committee, one thing that will be coming down the pipe from this discussion, when the mayor, myself, and the former administrator started talking about this, we put something together so we could discuss and decide on. We would do that before an August 21st meeting. Okay?
And one note is, I'm sure you're aware, Mr. Administrator, it has to go to, after first reading, it'll have to go to the planning board for its review. So you want to definitely factor that into your
Yeah, we have some time, I believe in July, we'll be over July 7th. Yeah, but thank you, I appreciate it.
Sure. I'm happy to entertain any questions, after the fact as well. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes. All right, payment of the bills, we have none. Partner reports, we have none. That brings us to public comment. Do you have anybody with public comment?
Step right up.
Please, your name and your address.
My name is Sally Coffey. I live 3463 Palace Court. So that I'm in Brandon, I repeat.
It's okay.
Okay, so I'm here this evening representing my neighbors. 3 months ago, specifically on Friday, March 15th, at 8:15 in the evening, an 83-year-old grandma and her 50-something-year-old daughter and a 4-year-old 10-pound Shih Tzu were attacked in their own driveway by 2 pit bulls. The pit bulls belonged to the residents of 3458. Police and ambulance arrived. The owners of the dogs were not able to produce licenses or proof of rabies, resulting in both women having their rabies shots. The older woman, who the pit bulls knocked to the concrete, continues to get care for a debilitating injury to her shoulder and arm. The daughter has recovered. The dog was taken to the Mountain Animal Hospital on hours of surgery because of the injuries sustained. The dog's injuries extensive from head to tail. Her organs were in her chest, all her ribs were broken. Due to the loss of ribs, broken ribs, and muscle to tie organs to, mesh was used internally, and the dog was put in a cast, remaining in the hospital for a week. Each of our neighbors are aware of the circumstances, and several of them have had experiences with the dogs. Easter evening, a different neighbor and her dachshund were chased. The pit bulls released the dog when that homeowner swung a rake or a broom. The day after the first attack, many of our neighbors recounted their own experiences with these dogs. and the absence of any resulting investigation. The officer responding the evening of the attack was cordial, but there was nothing he could do. The owners were going to quarantine the dogs in the house. That poses a second issue. There's no secure fencing. The perimeter fence to 3458 Palace has holes. The gate is missing a substantial section, large enough for any of us to walk through. I understand that someone from the township visited the home, but the owner has no money to repair their fence, and there's a pool in the yard. Before the first attack, a neighbor offered this owner material to repair their fence. The office was declined with a threat. Everyone now frightened to complain about these neighbors. The homeowner and the dog's owners, which were her sons, failed to appear in court and were fined. I suspect none of these fines were paid. There were bench warrants issued for her sons, but the police told us that they would not be enforced unless either of these young men were picked up on a traffic violation, which makes no sense. The owners did promise the original officers, that the dogs would be rehomed within 2 weeks. It's 3 months later, and the most vicious of these dogs is still there. Life is strange. Our neighbors who have children don't allow their children outside to play anymore. We're not walking our dogs on the street, and anybody not familiar with the circumstances being asked to abandon our block. Numerous township codes have been violated. We don't know who to call. Now, we did speak to Nancy, who formerly worked at Almost Home, which is now closed. Several of us have called the police, and I guess we've made a mistake calling county communications. I myself called the back line to the police department, that service or another. But who do we call?
So, I know this case personally.
I know you have a phone call the other day. Yes.
Well, I've had multiple phone calls even with people on Palace Court.
Yes.
And we do have the police chief here, maybe if he wants to jump in at some point, but I'll say this. This is a terrible scenario that we are not taking lightly. So we have opened up our police officer, Craig Adair, who takes care of the liaison for K9, and he does our animal stuff. There's a certain list of guidelines that do have to be followed, and it's not easy for us to remove. So listen, our goal, first and foremost, is to protect our residents. There's no doubt about it. Unfortunately, in some of these regards, we're limited to what we can do. We don't want to be limited. We need, I believe, and police chief, correct me if I'm wrong, if the police officer sees a dog unleashed out and is able to see it, they can grab the dog. Besides that, they need to deem the dog, I believe, some kind of a hazard or a vicious. So which they are working on right now to get it vicious. They're working to gain this classification for the sets. This family has told us multiple times that the dogs are going to disappear. In 2 weeks, my son's moving out. I drove by the property personally. I dealt with Duke Martz to find a way if we can pay to just fix the fence. You know, our plea from as soon as this happened was we don't want our residents to be victimized by these animals. And I'll say for the record, I own a dog. I get it. I love animals, but we have to protect our people. Okay. And we're trying to find a way. We're limited. We can't use certain funds to give to these people to repair the fence. It's a case in motion, and if the chief could speak to any of this, I would appreciate it. But we have not sloughed this off in any regard. We're trying to. What we need to do really is, and this is what they told me: call the police station and you make the report, which I know you guys have. And also, every time you call here and you speak to Amy documents any call that comes onto this building.
Well, nobody will speak to her anymore. She is not very pleased.
Okay,
I wasn't
we'll
the
speak to
last
her
one.
about that. But any call here regarding this will be recorded as a call. And these are all things that we use against the situation that we're actually in. It's not a 1, 2, 3, and that's not my rule, because if it was my rule, we would act on it a lot swifter.
Okay, let's talk about the fence room. And I have pictures of the fence, such as it is. But what we can't understand is this person purchased it 2 years ago. Well, it was in similar condition 2 years ago, not as bad as it is now. But if a person were to sell their home as is there no inspection ever performed?
Hold on for a second. Bill, do you have anything? Are you familiar with this?
I went out
know that
and
we
looked.
fine them and stuff, right?
I went out and looked at the fence, and there are holes in the fence. The pool in the backyard has a barrier around it. It is a barrier. So the fence isn't a barrier for the pool, so I can't do nothing about the fence having holes. If the fence was the barrier for the pool, I could write $2,000 violation. But I can't because the pool has its own barrier. I have to follow those specifications.
Is there any other violations that we've had for the house?
I know we've written some and we've written tickets to get them to court, but they haven't went to court.
And there's no, again, that's the other issue. Correct me if I'm wrong, no bench warrants being offered.
Well,
So,
they were issued on my
yeah, but
understanding.
if they don't show up, nothing's being done.
They get fined.
So there's fines, yeah, it's all there, but if they don't
Which
show
doesn't
up, that's it.
satisfy our
Yeah.
issue. Our issue is we have a dog or dogs. You know, they said maybe one left. I'm not
One's
sure.
gone, one's
So one's gone. Okay, we have a dog that's terrorizing the neighborhood. If it was a person, we can go pick the person up. With it being in regards to being an animal, and this is just what it's been explained to me. It's just different. We can't go in. They owned the property and asked for them to give us the dog. They don't have to give the dog. The dog would have to be under the title of it's dangerous, vicious dog, and that can only be awarded by a judge, which it is going to go in front of a judge. Our attorney is looking into how we finalize actually getting it in front of the judge. As early as this week, I was on the phone with our staff to ensure that Tim Higgins is actually working on this to figure out what verbiage will be used. Listen, it breaks my heart. This story. The woman who fell is a friend of mine's grandma. It's a terrible situation. It is, and we do have to find a way. It's our job to remedy this situation, and we're using all the resources that we have. And I apologize for how long it takes. And I really, it's not what we want to do to anybody. But as we go through it, all we have to keep doing is keep compiling a case against what this animal is doing. And we want to hold, to be specific, those bench warrants are being put against who they say owns the dog. The question that I brought up this week was, does it go to the homeowner? The homeowner owns the home, housing people that are living there. There could be another form of somebody else who can have.
Well, she passed the dog home.
Right, she said they're not hers, but they live inside of her house, just like if it was your child, just like if you were renting out a room to somebody. So we need to keep doing what we're doing, just pushing against what is actually happening until we finally get to the point where we can relieve the situation. But listen, on behalf of myself and everybody here, this isn't what we want. We have not addressed the situation. Please, we are trying to get there. We're going to get to the end of this, and I apologize for how long that's happened.
Okay, but there were like 2 dozen or more families that were affected.
I know.
One of them already moved out. He said,
Listen, I will keep you updated. If you can leave your number here with Pam, and I will follow up with you as early as Monday next week to let you know where we are in this entire process.
Okay, I just want to say something else. I've been doing some looking online. In the New Jersey State Assembly right now, they are considering a bill that determines vicious dogs and the requirement for people to have fences. It affects large dogs, and a lot of animal people are upset about that. Imagine if a person had a large dog, couldn't keep it because he had the fence, for instance.
I agree.
But I think it's really serious, and I know that the gentleman in the Assembly who has brought this up again started in 2015, now they're back in. But the youngster, the toddler, was killed in Patterson, and his mother was severely injured. Happened 2 weeks after this event.
Yeah, and also, and I brought up the same point. I said, well, how are we allowing this dog to stay there if you obviously are fit to own an animal, right? You're not fit to own this, and it's just from what I'm told from the police department, they are unable to show up, open the door, and say, give us the dog, which would be the remedy, the easiest remedy. No harm to the animal, put him inside of a shelter and go down that road. But we are continuing to work on it. I promise to give you an update as it goes. This is a fluid scenario.
Okay, before I sit down, I just want to say one thing. We have since called because the dog was tied up inside the house and was sitting on a screen porch. He burst through the screen door. The following day, the dog was tied up, again, fastened somehow to the fence, I'm assuming. No water, no food. An officer came out, a young officer. He came back in an hour. He said, well, the woman said he was playing in the dog. Let's say that's 9 on the Saturday night. Now, we're all afraid of the dog. All somebody did was throw some food over the fence. because we didn't want to call it starvation. But, you know, and it's not about pitbulls at all, sir.
Sure.
It's the way that they're simply not. But
Completely
we
understand.
need to know who to call. You know, call Nancy, right? I mean, she's very
You
gracious.
call the municipal building and you call the police station. Those two entities will create a report, which will be part of the process to actually help fight when animals act this way. And it's really, let's not blame the animal, let's blame the owner.
That's
This
right.
gives us the ability to regulate what these owners of animals are actually doing. We need documentation. If you're talking to neighbors and they see
Okay.
anything that you guys don't like, you're never bothering us. We appreciate it. We need people like you to report on things like this. We appreciate it.
Take pictures if you see the
Well,
dog out and
or
We
about.
don't always want to get close.
We don't
enough
want
to
you to
the
get,
dog.
we don't want you in an argument with your neighbors
No.
either. We don't want you to get caught spying on anybody. But when you see it, flip your phone open, give us a call. It gets reported, it's documented. Believe me, we have a file on this location. I was just there the other day, you can double check it.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
You
I
said
give
you,
you my number.
ma'am, it's people 911, we have an officer there who is authorized to deal with these dogs.
He's the
This
police
is our
chief.
police chief. This is
John
Chief Oliver,
Fox.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And who wants my number?
right here with me.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do we have any other public comment? Please, your name, your address.
Good morning, Ellen McMullen, 3462 Palace Court. First off, I'd like to acknowledge that the website for tonight's meeting, I was delighted to see that all the ordinances and resolutions were all listed there. I thought that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Before I had looked, I was looking at the Open Public Meetings Act and looking to see if we were still in compliance thereof. And looking at the Open Public Meetings Act, this is my personal opinion, I believe the township has responsibility to continue providing remote access to the meeting. I understand that it's live streaming, which means that people can see it. I guess it's on channel 19, but we no longer have a means of access, which we had before, which was via Zoom or by telephone. So even people who did not have computers could still participate. So the Open Public Meetings Act, and I put out some information. It says that meetings that are subject to this are attended by an effective majority of the members of the public body, regardless of whether they attend in person or by phone or other means of communication. So my request is to see if, in fact, that is going to be happening here in Pennsauken.
We'll circle back with you on that. It's a good point. You bring up a good point. You know, we were excited to be back in person today, so bear with us. Thank you. Any other comment from the public? Okay.
Hold on one second. Mr. Sage, I believe, do you want to speak to committee or present to committee? Or would this will be your opportunity to do so? Thank you.
Good evening. Jim Sage with Seaside, South Jersey Sanitation.
Please give us your address as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
we need
business address,
Yeah.
263 North Flagler's Pike, Hamilton, New Jersey. I'd like to thank the mayor and the township committee for allowing me the opportunity to speak here this evening. And additionally, for the teamwork and support that the city has given Seaside Waste during this difficult
So
time.
Sage, if you can just get closer to the mic, because
Sure. We experienced a driver shortage and subsequently a more severe helper shortage over the last 2 months. The shortage of labor significantly impacted the service schedule for Pennsauken, most dramatically during the Memorial Day holiday. To counteract the shortage, the city supplied labor for our trucks, used their own trucks to assist Seaside in getting back on schedule and giving service the Pennsauken residents deserve. Labor shortage is a national issue, not one affecting this area only or our company alone. We're extremely grateful for the assistance given us by Pennsauken Township. We made adjustments internally in order to serve the township. These adjustments include delayed vacation, personal days. The employees are paid for the time due them and given the time off later this year. We also moved employees from the commercial line of work to residential pickup. We paid bonuses for consistent attendance, 6 days per week, additional bonuses for the weeks before and after the holiday, in addition to overtime and working past 6 p.m. and an additional bonus. We've raised hourly rates, paid a sign-in bonus for both drivers and helpers, and paid on the first day of employment rather than waiting the traditional week after to pay. All of these adjustments have helped as we return to a regular schedule in the weeks following the holiday. This week we've been on schedule and done so without using township employees to assist us. We have drivers and helpers returning to us, 3 drivers and 5 helpers this past week. Since January, we've increased hourly rates of pay, provided uniforms, increased health insurance coverage, provided dental, vision, and free life insurance for every employee. We appreciate the assistance provided by the township and the patience of the residents during this difficult time. We look forward to providing on-time service going forward.
Thank you. All right, motion to close the floor for public comment. All in favor? Any nay? Okay, floor is closed. Next up is committee comments. I'm going to start us off here. First, I want to say, like I said here when we opened up the meeting, it's wonderful to be able to have an opportunity to see everybody's face. You know, these meetings on Zoom, yet more accessible, you do lose a little bit here. You know, you don't get to see body language. You don't get to see how people really feel. And I think it's really vital as a society for us to be able to congregate together and meet people and learn a lot about one another. So I couldn't be happier to have this opportunity for us all to get together the way we are. So as we watch these numbers dwindle with the vaccine coming out, people getting vaccinated, it's great. You know, as we had over the weekend, we had a phenomenal fireworks display assisted by our fire, police, EMS, our Department of Public Works, who did a great job bringing all the equipment in to all the great residents that came out. It was the first time we were able to give something with a public activity in that way. You know, we were creative during the pandemic. You know, we did some drive-by stuff, which was really unique. But this was the first time we said, hey, come one, come all. You don't have to wear a mask. Get some shaved ice and some Mr. Salty's ice cream. Watch some fireworks. So that was exciting. My other comment would be, simply put, I'd like to welcome Patrick Olivo on the Township Committee. Patrick, we're honored to have you. We're excited to have you. I am honored every day to work with this team, not just committee, but everybody up here and everybody out here in this crowd, to be honest with you. We have an incredible team, and we really believe you're going to be a true asset to what this town brings. Your hard work and dedication to this township already is a true testament to the kind of person you are. So welcome, Patrick. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
With that, I'd like to turn the floor over to our Deputy Mayor, Jessica Ratman.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for being here. Just like the mayor said, it's nice to see you all face to face. Ms. McMullen, you brought up a good point about, you know, the people that cannot still be here. So we'll take those concerns and see how we can change it. This Saturday was a great event. The fire and police kept it safe for us. We enjoyed it. We had fun. So looking forward to many more events coming, hopefully. And Patrick, welcome to the team. I'm really excited to have you here and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Committeewoman Roberts.
Thank you all for being here. I am very excited about being my first meeting in person. It's exciting to finally see you face to face. The fireworks were
11th and August 8th. And we want to raise a lot more money, so I'm encouraging everyone to come out and support that fundraiser. It's for a really great cause, with the Diversified Library. They're doing an excellent job over there, and diversity is the theme of this fundraiser. So I hope that you'll all come out and support it on July 11th and August 8th. And they're doing a great job with trying to get things up and running that way. I also want to welcome Patrick. Welcome. We're very happy to have you here. Looking forward to working with you. And again, thank everybody for coming out and have a good evening.
Thank you, Committeeman Roberts. Next, Committeeman Martinez. Not last, not last.
Yeah, that's right. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. I know Zoom can be a little easy to get on, but taking some time out and showing up for an in-person meeting takes a lot of commitment. Also, I know the fireworks were a great event, but we had a paper shredding for the Pennsauken Environmental Commission. Cars were wrapped around the parking lot all the way out. Great event. If you want to go to the next one, just get online or on Facebook. There's a bunch of events that you can check out. We also have mini cleanups. I think the next one is August 29th. It will be at Pennsauken Creek. Like we said, I also want to welcome Patrick Oliver. Super excited to work with him. And great job, Helen. The lemonade, my children, they enjoyed it. So appreciate that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Next up, Committeeman Oliver.
Since I'm the new guy, I really don't have a lot to say, but I'd like to thank the committee for the nomination. Thank you very much, and I'm excited to join the team, and it's going to be a great future. Thank you, and thanks for coming out, everyone. I enjoy seeing familiar faces, and definitely be soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Okay, so next up is this where we're at here? Resolutions, public may comment. The following resolutions will be considered individually.
2021-206, a resolution authorizing a closed session in Township Committee of the Township of Pennsauken to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege of contracts. Committee will return for action.
Seeing no comment from the public, we have a motion to adopt. Roll call, please.
Committeeman Oliver. Committeeman Martinez.
Yes.
Committeewoman Roberts. Yes. Deputy Mayor Rafe. Yes. Mayor Batista.
Yes.
All right, so at this time, we're going to take a walk down the hall. Mr. Rizzo, please join us. Maloney, Scott, please join us. We will be back to address the next resolution.
Just so you understand, so the meeting, the only thing we have left is what we're going to discuss in closed. In essence, unless what we were doing in closed had anything to do with you, you don't have to stick around. You can stay as long as you'd like. I just want you to understand. We're going to discuss something contractually. We'll come back. We may or may not take action on it. But thank you for coming tonight. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thank you.